miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love it when you let it go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go.
Today it's about 6 a.m. I'm at the DST. It's pretty big. So, awesome, right? So we're setting up every single set, basically. We're setting up about 40 computers, including one made in 1998.
I'm guessing these are all it's AO76.
Pretty cool, right?
So, but I don't remember the actual
Think about this. All this was made in 1969. It's all getting updated. It's pretty awesome. Look at these ones right here. So if you notice this huge gargantuan behind me, guess what it does? It hovers. You know why? The whole reason that it hovers is so you can't see it right now, but underneath the whole thing, they have a bunch of magnets that just keeps it hovering. And in total, this whole building weighs about 608,000 pounds. The bottom half of this building weighs 400,000 of that. It's pretty cool, right? Okay, I made it to the Dunn. This is the big telescope part of it, and up there is the platform. I'm hoping I get to go up there at some point today, so you can see. So see up here, and that represents about like a very small fraction of the whole thing. So, see, it's amazing. It's huge. And so if you look, this is the door. That's how tall it is, to give you kind of a comparison. So I'm going in. So, United States Air Force, Sacramento Peak Observatory, Vacuum Tower Telescope. And it's pretty cool.
Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go.
Okay. What's the coolest part about being an engineer?
Learning new things, getting to learn new things each day, and learning from the scientists that we work with. And it's neat because you're always learning something different every day.
When you became interested in the topic, how old were you?
Probably in my late 20s.
Do you like hands-on or desk work?
Hands-on, it's a lot funner. It's a lot more fun. Excuse me. It just makes the day goes by quick, and desk work sometimes is pretty boring.
How many work hours do you clock in on an average?
Maybe between 50 and 60 a week.
So quite a bit.
I work probably, I would say, average for an American.
Is teamwork important in...
Oh yeah, it's probably in this type of situation, research type of situation, it's probably one of the most important things. It's critical.
If you were working alone on the project, would it take the same amount of time as it would with two people in different fields?
No, I think that two people working together can accomplish the task a lot quicker.
So even if they were working in different fields, it would help the same.
Yeah, and even if, to be honest, even if they were working in different fields, as long as the goal was the same and the teamwork was good, two people. Yeah.
Thank you for your time. What's the coolest part of being a scientist?
The coolest part of being a scientist, I think, is to have the ability to explore and learn new things every day. Every day my job is different. I get to do some things in the lab that are really fun. I get to go up to the top of a mountain and work at a telescope. It's just always new and always fun. That's what I like.
When you became interested in the topic, how old were you?
I always knew I was interested in math, and that probably started in high school. But I really became interested in telescopes and optics maybe when I was, I'd say, 19 years old.
Do you like hands-on or desk work?
Definitely hands-on. I like to get my hands dirty, work on like lab instruments if I can, stuff like that. But every job has a little bit of both, so I do some desk work too.
Is teamwork important for the field?
Very important. Our telescope probably has more than 100, maybe even a couple hundred people working on it, and I just play a tiny part in all of that. You know, you have to build the structure, the dome, people have to design all of that, then there's the optics, the big mirrors, and all the instruments and things like that, and people coordinate and do managerial work, just a lot of different roles, and we all have to work together to do it.
Thank you.
The coolest part of being a scientist is learning about nature. It's a very interesting way of investigating what the physical universe is like and learning something new almost every day. I became interested when I was probably in junior high school. And what interested me, of course, was the space program, but that led me into mathematics and physics and a little bit of chemistry. I think I prefer more desk work than hands-on because it allows me to be a little bit more analytical and thoughtful about the problems. Teamwork, I think, is important in this field, but it's important in every field. But especially in science because you have to collaborate with other scientists and with other technical people, and you get fresh ideas from different directions. Thanks. Have a nice day.
Thanks. Hello? Why do you do what you do?
I take an active interest in the world. I geek out on the whole thing. I like studying it and observing it and figuring out how it works. So building cameras and instruments and flying airplanes and doing all the technical things I do is a great way to engage with it.
When did you decide to become a scientist?
I didn't, actually. I just do what I do. I've always been interested in understanding things, so career-wise I kind of did a mix of engineering and science, and just kind of kept doing this thing. So can't really point to any specific point in time where I decided to do one thing.
Do you work on anything in particular?
Right now I'm building a lot of large astronomical research instruments, so remote sensing packages for solar telescopes, light airplanes, other things on the side. But my main job here with the National Solar Observatory is to build polarimetric optics and work with a bunch of spectrographs and imagers for solar telescopes like the one behind us.
Are any of these instruments you're doing, are they going to DKIST?
None of these will be. What we're doing right now is testing out techniques and tools that will be used on DKIST. The instrument suite here at the Dunn telescope is similar to and very much progenitor prototypes for the DKIST instrumentation, but everything here at the Dunn is going to stay at the Dunn.
What's the coolest telescope you've ever been to?
The coolest telescope? Actually, I like EOS. I worked for 12 years at the Air Force Observatory on Haleakala. It's very fast. It's got a very similar setup to DKIST and the Dunn, and a lot of really cool instruments on it. So I would say that observatory has been a pleasure to work with.
So, how much time do you spend traveling overall?
A lot. I bounce between Oahu and Maui, something like half time, and I'm in Boulder 1 week a month, roughly. So most weeks I'm flying somewhere, if not flying to somewheres.
How's jet lag?
A lot. Thankfully, I now work in solar physics, starting a few months ago, so I don't have to do night shift anymore, which is just like jet lag. But traveling back and forth every other month does keep your body a little bit out of balance. But it's fun.
What's the coolest part about being a scientist?
Oh, the intellectual engagement and the flexibility. The job is very different day to day, and it changes with time, so it's always something interesting and new.
When you became interested in the topic, how old were you?
Oh, which topic? All of the. I've been rebuilding things since I was younger than you, for sure. Started building houses with my dad, rebuilding mountain bikes and dirt bikes. Did music in high school, worked repairing guitars and doing electronics and wiring inside guitars. And then I've just kind of kept on going, doing all kinds of interesting things.
So, do you prefer hands-on or desk work?
Both, actually. If desk work means modeling, simulations, software, and analysis, that's pretty cool. But there's a ton of fun in the lab building things. So I guess what I like to do is a 50-50 mix where you build it, have some fun in the lab, and then go make it work on the software side and on the analysis side and do the science.
Is teamwork important for the field you work in?
Absolutely. Wouldn't survive without it.
So if you were working alone, would you get anything done or would it just fail?
Well, it depends for how long. When you're working at an observatory, a lot of what you do is alone. I worked at this Air Force telescope for many years, and it was me alone every night up there building and working. But if I didn't have collaborators, mentors, support staff, a bunch of people around me to help enable what we do, it wouldn't work. So maybe you saw today there was a team of people running the telescope, and we might not have interacted so much, but if they weren't professionally and expertly running that telescope, we would not survive.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.